Hey everyone, it's Sunny. Welcome back to my channel. A couple of days ago, I put on my Instagram story, which if you're not following me on Instagram, go follow me right now. It's at sunnykimchannel. And so I put that question sticker on my Instagram story. I do stuff like this all the time, by the way. Yeah. I asked you guys for your favorite Taylor Swift lyrics and you guys kind of popped off. I loved looking through them because I was like, they were so good. Like your guys' taste. And I wrote like all of them down. The first song lyric I'm gonna do is the lyric from my current Taylor Swift song Hyperfixation, which is amazing. From the bridge of Last Kiss. Such a good song. For this lyric, I recommend Reminders of Him by 𝐤𝐤𝐬𝐤. The second that I heard this lyric, it really reminded me of this, specifically for like the mother-daughter relationship that's in Reminders of Him, which is like the part that was like the most painful thing to read and just caused me so much emotional pain. It's about a woman named 𝐬𝐻𝐻 who was just released from prison, going back to her hometown. The reason that she's going back there and it's like not stopping the fight is to be reunited with her young baby daughter who she had in prison, but then she was just immediately ripped from her hands. So the second she got out, obviously she's gonna go try to find her daughter, but like everybody around her daughter is like trying to keep her away from her, and so there's like just so much sadness from 𝐤𝐻𝐻's point of view, like the very real possibility that she's just never gonna be able to be part of her daughter's life. So I'll watch your life in pictures, watching her daughter's life from afar just through pictures, not being able to like actually be part of it. I feel you forget me like I used to feel you breathe. Obviously there's like a romance and everything, but in my opinion, 𝐤𝐻𝐻's pain and like the fight to be in her daughter's life is like the part that was like the most important in this book to me. So that's why this lyric reminds me of that one. Okay, so the next 4 books actually are all part of the same series. They're all like interconnected standalones. It's the Dirty Air series. There's 4 books. And so I've collected your guys' favorite Taylor Swift lyrics and matched it to each of the books. Oh, and all of them follow Formula 1 race car drivers and their romances. So starting from the first book, we have Throttled. I would recommend Throttled if your favorite Taylor Swift lyric is this chorus part from New Romantic. This song is so underrated. This first book follows Noah and he's like the top Formula 1 race car driver. Like he's the one to beat. Like in his home life and growing up, he had like a terribly abusive father and like a terrible relationship with his family and a terrible home life. But he's part of like the Slade like empire, his reputation. And then also if you love the lyric, let's just talk about how every single line and every single lyric from This Is Me Trying is like the best lyricism I've ever seen ever in my entire life. But this line like really gives being so gifted and excelling in something, but because of all the expectations and all the things that you're like pushing onto yourself, you eventually get burnt out. And that really reminds me a lot about Noah's character because he was so ahead of the curve. Also, it gives me like the Formula 1 circuit vibes, like a literal curve, so ahead of the curve. The next book, Collided. I would recommend Collided if you love, honestly, all of Sparks Fly, but especially the opening lyric. It reminds me a lot about Liam and Sophie's relationship, but he's like this like big, beautiful, blonde, blue eye, looks so sweet. Is described to have like just a magnetism and like gravitas to like everything that he does. Like people really notice him. Our female main character is just like so like just drawn to him. So the way you move is like a full-on rainstorm and I'm a house of cards. This one is a friends with benefits, friends to lovers. And then the third book, and if you like this lyric in This Is Me Trying, the famous, infamous, beautiful masterpiece of the I got wasted like all my potential line is very much Jax Kingston. He comes off as like a really huge playboy British accent, but he's like fighting a lot of like inner battles and like personal struggles that no one knows about, dealing with addiction. You can like see him self-destructing. And then also if your favorite lyric is the bridge to Ivy, again one of my favorite songs. Is very much Jax and Elena's relationship. Elena's like the female main character. I'm not gonna spoil it, but Jax is like dealing with something frightening and he has kind of like really like been avoiding it and won't let anyone get close to him because it will like affect that person. But then after he meets Elena and he falls in love, he decides to like take on this battle, but it's like the hardest thing ever. Yeah, it's a war to goddamn fight of my life and you started it. Like it's because Elena came into his life. Now it's kind of unavoidable because he literally fell in love. And then the last lyric, I say believe in one thing, I won't go go away. Elena literally says like almost these exact words to Jax on a balcony. It's like there's like some scene in the book and I love that scene so much, one of my favorite scenes. Okay, in the last book in the series, if you like either of these two lyrics, then I would recommend it. This one, by the way, so many of you guys sent in as your favorite lyrics. You drew stars around my scars. The "You drew stars around my scars" line, and then also this lyric from Sparks Fly. So these two, I feel like, describe the relationship between Santi and Chloe, the female main character in Redeemed. At the beginning of this book, Santi goes through a terrible injury, brings down his self-esteem, and kind of has jeopardized his whole career. But Chloe comes in and like really transforms the way that he views himself and like helps him see that this is not the end of his life, doesn't necessarily have to just incapacitate his entire life. So "You drew stars around my scars," obviously, and then "I'm captivated by you, baby, like a fireworks show." Kind of how Santi views Chloe, I think. Like the first time that he like interacts with her, he's kind of like jarred, like something important just came into his life. Every time that he's like admiring her from afar or like just watching her do things, he's just so captivated by her and it's so obvious. That was my long-winded way of recommending the Dirty Air series, all 4 books. Okay, the next lyric quite possibly might be like my favorite Taylor Swift moment of all time. It was like reset in my life when I first heard this. The way that like my heart like can't even function when that part comes on in Cruel Summer, immediately that reminds me so much of Cardan from The Cruel Prince. That line is exactly Cardan like put into a line. I feel like Cardan and Jude, it's like very enemies to lovers. Jude hates Cardan. He, no exaggeration, like terrorizes her, but they have such an attraction to each other, which kind of doesn't make sense until you read the book, and then like it will just like grip you. It's like, yeah. And then he looks up grinning like a devil. It's exactly Cardan. He's like so beautiful. And to describe Jude, darling, I'm a nightmare dressed like a daydream. Her whole thing throughout the series is that people always underestimate her, and she's beautiful. People think that she's weak, but she is actually a spy and quite deadly, and I love her. Okay, the next song lyric, again a God tier song and a God tier bridge. This is me. Reminds me so much of It Ends With Us. There's kind of like a dual timeline storyline kind of thing happening, following a relationship in the present day, and then we also get flashbacks to a relationship that our female main character Lily experienced in the past when she was in high school. It's a love story that was cut too short, way too soon. He kind of like had really sweet love story, friendship, really deep bond that they formed, but then he had to leave very suddenly, and it was very much like, am I ever gonna see him again? Probably not, but this is me praying that it's just the very first page, not where the storyline will end. And then spoiler alert, the storyline really does not end there, and that love story in the past is actually getting like a companion novel that's coming out this fall. When I tell you that like I like could not function when I saw that this book was announced. Next song lyric. If you're like a Forbidden Love stan, then this is like your favorite Taylor Swift song for sure. Put your lips close to mine as long as they don't touch. For this lyric, I recommend This Woven Kingdom by Tahira Mafi. To be honest, I like haven't really read Forbidden Love quite as well as it was written in this book. It was actually so, I was captivated. The girl is like a servant, pretty much slave, and then the prince of this kingdom. These two like meet by accident like in the street, and just like something clicks so immediately. They're like angsty, like yearning, pining scenes were just so good, and like was like just done so well in this book. But like the moments that they have together, highly recommend this book. Oh my gosh. And then this next lyric, about to scream this right now. Don't call me kid, don't call me baby, look at this godforsaken nest that you made me. Can't even think of a better character to match this lyric than Warner from the Shatter Me series. I binged this entire series and I vlogged all of it. I don't know if it's gonna go up before or after. Let me just tell you that if you resonate with this lyric at all, or you want to read a character that is exactly this line, you have to read this book series. Unfortunately, you will have to go through multiple books in order to like get the full story. Warner, just his relationship with his father and all the damage that his father has done to him to like make him into the godforsaken mess that he is. It really can't even say anything more than that, but just trust me on that one. Oh my gosh, it pains my heart to think about. To this day, it pains my heart. Okay, next, this line from Cardigan. You linger like a tattoo kiss. For this one, I'm recommending Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. This is like the classic childhood friends to lovers, or childhood friends to strangers to lovers at like a summer beach house where you go visit every summer. It's another iteration of that trope. We follow Persephone and Sam, and they were like just such immediate best friends when they meet each other when they're like really young, and then they end up having like kind of falling out when they're about to go to college. You kind of follow them in like a past present timeline pretty much throughout her life. All of her friends tell her this too. The reason that none of your relationships and like you're not interested in any guys is because you're always comparing them to Sam, your childhood best friend. He's like still haunting her. Their relationship is still like, but what if? So that's that. And then also from Cardigan, if your favorite lyric is this other lyric, which the Cardigan bridge is so elite. I think we all know that. For this one, I'm recommending Hopeless by Colleen Hoover. I really can't say a lot about this without spoiling the entire plot twist of this book. We follow Dean, Holder, and Sky, but they're like really drawn to each other. For some reason, Holder has just like this keen interest in Sky, and she has no idea why. And then you figure out everything, and it's kind of the plot twist. But yeah, trust me, try to change the ending. Peter losing Wendy it's very much exactly their relationship. Next, I'm gonna talk about a book because I have several for this book. Obviously, it's Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I haven't put Six of Crows in a book recommendation in a while, but I've put it in like every other book recommendations. There's several couples in this book, so reminds me of like the Nina Matthias love story in this. It's like Grumpy Sunshine. The guy is like so grumpy. He's like, oh my gosh. So he's like never smiling, except Nina is like the exact opposite. She's so sunshine, is always joking, always goofing, and trying to make him laugh so much. And so like when you like get a laugh out of him, it's like so rewarding, you know? Oh my gosh, now that I'm thinking about it, this lyric also really reminds me of The Hating Game too, because it's like the same trope. Very grumpy guy, never smiles, and so like the first time that she can get him to smile, it's like so amazing, and it's like so beautiful and like lights up the whole world. It's kind of like, oh my gosh, it's time to be real. And then for another couple in this book, really reminds me of Kaz and Inej from this same book. Kaz is like obviously whipped for Inej, but like won't admit it, and also like doesn't realize this. And so to like kind of overcompensate and like keep her at a distance, he'll like say things to her throughout this book that's like being like brutally honest, but it's like so cruel. I think we all know what line I'm talking about, the investment line, when he's like, oh, she's just a business investment or whatever. So Casually Cool in the Name of Being Honest really reminded me of them. I really thought that I would have more time because I have others on here, but I feel like actually like I won't have time. So yeah, if you want like the other ones that I have, comment and like this video. But the last one that I'm gonna talk about very briefly, because I talk about this book all the time because it's one of my favorite books ever. But if you like the line from Lover, haven't known you 20 seconds or 20 years. That line, then I would highly recommend trying out The Infernal Devices. The first book is Clockwork Angel, because the couple that I love from that series, Tessa and Will, they just met, but they're such fast friends. They get along, really cut from the same cloth. They love books. They haven't met anyone who like really connects with books and words quite like the other person does. Just their chemistry and their banter. That's the last one. Comment down below your favorite Taylor Swift lyric. Oh my gosh, that's kind of hard. I shouldn't ask that. That's so hard. That's like Sophie's choice. Actually, no, I'll say comment down below your current lyric hyperfixation. I feel like it's like the better question to ask. I'll tell you what mine is right now. The bridge to You Are in Love. Can you understand now why they lost their minds and fought the wars? 'Cause you can hear it in the silence. You understand now why they lost their minds and fought the wars? It's like taken over my life. Oh my gosh. Anyway, that is my hyperfixation. Please comment down yours. Anyway, that's gonna be all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already. Follow me on all my socials. They're all linked in the description, and I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.